Mike and the guys came to the shop to collect some food. Kirk wants to know if they should tell about Linoge's origin. Mike doesn't want to tell it. Outside, the men are calling out to the snatched people. Molly gets mad at Sandra for letting Ralph out of her eyes. Mike stumbles upon Jane, who's dead. With her is a paper of the message. When Molly asks where they saw Ralphie last time, Pippa points to the door. She then finds him behind the door. He says that the man was also in there. She as well finds a paper of the message. Ralphie then has something in his hands, which was a gift to him by Andre. Kat tells her not to open it, but Ralphie already knows what's in it. He was told to share it with everyone on the island. The Reverend tells Molly not to open it, but she still does. She sees marble stones. Jack keeps calling out to Angie and doesn't want to go in. We then suddenly see her with white hairs. She says that they have to give him what he wants. He will tell them tonight what he wants. As Kat's telling a story, the kids suddenly start singing the Little Teapot song. Angie is traumatized. She was up in the air with the cane in front of them. She was above the island and saw many cops looking for them, like in the dreams. He allowed Angie to live so she can pass on the message. Robbie asks why Linoge just doesn't take what he wants. Angie says that they have to give it to him. When someone asks why us, someone else says, maybe because we can keep a secret. As Kirk brings some toys, the kids are acting very strange. They see a silver doggy head, which the adults can't see. The kids then touch the staff and start fainting. Parents try to hold them back but are unable. As everyone's panicking, Mike tells them to be quiet. They don't know what's happening to the kids. We then see all the kids hand in hand flying through the air with Andre. He is now standing outside the city hall. The ladies gather some candles as the generator might give up. The kids are asleep. The generator then goes out. Hatch says that the storm should stop at midnight. As Joanna grabs a candle, Andre appears behind her and says that she's happy that her mother's dead. The Reverend argues with Mike that they should give the man what he wants. Mike and Hatch then find Joanna in an elevated place. When Mike wants to pull his gun, Andre threatens to burn her face. Andre says that the Reverend has nieces who are 11 and 9 years old whom he likes quite a lot. Mike says that he only sees the bad in people, but he believes people are bad and then tells Mike that his town is full of adulterers, pedophiles, thieves, murderers and more. He knows everything about them and then repeats the phrase, born in lust, turn to dust, born in sin, come on in. He then says that everyone must gather at 9 PM and he'll then see if he's through with this town or not. It is time. The doors open and Andre Linoge enters. He then stops and addresses Davy. He's told that his father has stolen more than $14,000 over the last 6 years from the marine supply company he works for, which he uses for gambling. The man says he's a liar. Andre replies by saying, born in vice, say it twice. He then addresses a man who burned down the place he worked at after getting fired, and Kirk helped him. He also addresses 3 men who beat up a kid that lost his eye. As Robbie holds up his gun, Andre terrifies him once more with the appearance of his deceased mother. He says that their children are with them and they're not, just like a part of him is with them. He then shows them an image of the children flying in the air. If he drops them there, they die here. They say they'll give him what he needs. He then says he has lived for thousands of years but he's not immortal. He then shows his true face. He is dying in a slow pace. He then finally reveals what he wants. He needs someone whom he can pass on all his knowledge to, someone that can carry on his work. He wants a child. They should give one freely and he'll go away. Mike says they'll never give him one of their children. Andre says to stop Mike or he'll drop the kids. He also says that he cannot take, but he can punish. If they don't, the dreams will come true. He gives them half an hour. Robbie addresses the crowd about the whole situation. A man stands up and believes they should give up a child. When Robbie asks who believes Andre can wipe them out, they all raise their hands except for Mike. Mike then addresses the crowd who are astray. He understands the wickedness of the man but is completely against giving the kids away. A man asks what they should do. Mike says to deny him and trust in God. Robbie says he can drop all the kids from the sky. Mike says he could be bluffing, it might be a lie. The women object and say he just wants to adopt a child. Everyone opposes Mike. He stands alone and is told to back off. Ursula says it's better to give Sally than let all die. Mike is unable to convince anyone, so he says that only the parents will have the say. But a woman objects and says that the whole community has the right to say. Mike then says that his son is not part of this obscenity. His wife says he is part of it. When Mike wants to take away his son, the men grab and attack him. Mike is powerless and even his friend doesn't take his side. Everyone then votes to go ahead with it. When Andre enters, he tells them that they did the right thing. He tells them that there are 7 white stones and 1 black stone. One parent of each child must come forward. He lines them up and tells them to grab a stone without revealing it yet. The one who has the black stone will give up their child. They all grab a stone. He then tells them to reveal it. One by one, we see white stones. Melinda and Molly are the last ones standing. They reveal it simultaneously. Molly has a black stone, and Mike is outraged. Molly now denies, but Andre says that she agreed to the terms. She blames him for fixing it, but he assures her it is not so. When she comes near, he sends her flying against the wall. Andre then tells them that the less you say to the outside world about our arrangement, the more happy you are apt to be, but it is up to them. Andre then appears in his real form and approaches the child. Molly shouts out to Mike to stop him, but Mike is being held down. He then picks up Ralphie. Molly shouts out that he tricked them. He says, "Perhaps you tricked yourselves." Molly screams in anguish. Andre walks out with their child. When Mike goes out, we see Andre ascend towards the sky. It is 5 months later. Molly is at the psychologist. She says that Ralphie got lost during the storm and died like that. Mike is leaving the town. Hatch doesn't want him to and says he hasn't had a good night's sleep since February and that they might have been wrong. He also mentions that his wife is on tranquilizers. Mike says that at least he still has his daughter. He can watch her sleep any night. Mike leaves with the ferry. 9 years later, Mike never returned. He got a degree in law enforcement and accountancy. The island now seems far away and Andre Linoge like a bad dream he had. Melinda died a year after the incident. 3 years later, Hatch and Molly married. Jack got divorced and killed himself. One day, Robbie's wife Sandra went on a rowing boat. She disappeared. They found a boat back with Croton written on it. The town has still kept a secret. As Mike leaves from a shop, he hears a man with a boy passing by humming the Little Teapot song. As he shouts out his son's name, it is truly them. Whispers are again in the air and Ralphie shows his menacing teeth. Mike runs after them, but they are not to be seen any longer. He walks off in distress. Mike wanted to tell Molly about it, but he didn't. He then says, "Sometimes, mostly late at night when I can't sleep, I think that was wrong. But in daylight, I know better."